Okay, picture this. It's the final race of a school's annual sports day. The crowd is absolutely roaring. You can literally feel the tension. And then, halfway down the track, a young boy stumbles and falls hard. The other runners? Well, they could have easily just kept going. I mean, glory is literally meters away and their adrenaline is pumping. But something remarkable happens. One by one, those competitors stop. They turn around, they reach down, help him up, and together, shoulder to shoulder, they cross that finish line with their hands raised high. It wasn't about who was fastest anymore. It was about being in it together. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving deep into our source chapter to explore a really powerful concept: why sports are and absolutely must be for everyone.
Nelson Mandela actually put it perfectly. He said sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. I absolutely love this quote because it frames everything we're talking about today. We aren't just looking at sports as a simple game or a weekend hobby to burn off some energy. We're looking at it as a real, transformative tool for equality, peace, and deep human connection. Because when we change who gets to play, we genuinely change the world.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Sports are a human right. 2. Dimensions of true inclusivity. 3. The Paralympic spirit. 4. The STEP adaptation model. And 5. Biology, fairness, and play. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. Sports are a human right.
Take a look at this definition from the UNESCO Charter of Physical Education. It plainly states, "The practice of physical education and sport is a fundamental right for all." Now, why is that so crucial? Well, historically, organized sports have kind of been treated as a luxury, right? If you had the money for gear or lived near a nice park, you got to play. If you had typical physical development, you got picked for the team. But this charter completely flips the script. It elevates access to sports. It's no longer just a privilege or nice to have. It is literally an inalienable, global human right. No child anywhere should ever be told they can't play because of their gender, their background, or their physical ability.
And we're actually seeing this right turned into reality today. Take India's Khelo India initiative. They are actively promoting a grassroots sports culture across the entire nation. It's not just a catchy slogan. They're actually out there identifying young talent from rural and marginalized communities and backing them with real scholarships and infrastructure. And on a global scale, we have April 6th, the UN International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. Programs running on this day use sports to help heal post-conflict zones and teach conflict resolution. These aren't just symbolic gestures, guys. They are massive institutional efforts to democratize access and make sports an instrument for real inclusion.
Moving on to Section 2. Dimensions of true inclusivity.
What does sports for all actually look like when you take it off the paper and put it into practice? Just imagine the energy of a fast-paced game of ultimate frisbee with a completely diverse mix of players. You've got boys, girls, individuals with different physical abilities, all running the field together. True inclusivity means actively creating equal opportunities and breaking down those traditional barriers. The really fascinating thing about sports like ultimate frisbee, or korfball for that matter, is that they're structurally designed to encourage everyone to participate. Ultimate frisbee even relies on self-refereeing, which naturally builds mutual respect and communication among radically different players.
But here's the thing. Inclusivity isn't always something you can immediately spot from the sidelines. We have to think about visible versus invisible disabilities. Visible ones, like needing a wheelchair or wearing a prosthetic blade, are just one piece of the puzzle. Invisible disabilities, things like autism, learning disabilities, or even conditions like type 1 diabetes, are just as crucial to consider. For a kid with autism, the real barrier might not be a physical inability to run, it might be the overwhelming sensory overload of a loud, echoing gymnasium. So true accessibility means our physical spaces, our rules, and honestly, our empathy as coaches have to account for both the seen and the unseen.
Section 3. The Paralympic spirit.
Have you ever wondered where the word Paralympic actually comes from? It's pretty cool. It comes from the Greek word para, meaning beside or alongside, combined with Olympic. That etymology is absolutely huge because it tells us the Paralympics are parallel competition. It's not a secondary event. It is a parallel platform of absolute equal excellence. It's wild to think this whole movement started back in 1948 when a doctor named Sir Ludwig Guttmann set up a small sports competition for British World War II veterans with spinal cord injuries. From a hospital lawn to one of the most fiercely competitive sporting events on the planet, talk about a glow-up. And make no mistake, Paralympians train with the exact same rigor, face the same grueling early morning workouts, and chase the exact same goal as Olympic athletes, achieving their personal best and winning gold. The qualification rules are incredibly strict, and the equipment, from carbon fiber running blades to precision-engineered racing wheelchairs, it represents the absolute pinnacle of human ingenuity. The Paralympic spirit fosters this incredible environment of excellence, fairness, and deep pride. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that athletic greatness belongs to absolutely everybody.
Which brings us to Section 4, the STEP adaptation model. So, how do we take that high-level inclusivity and bring it down to, say, the average middle school gym class? It can feel pretty overwhelming for educators trying to figure out how to include everyone safely. But that's where this highly practical tool comes in. It's called the STEP adaptation model, and it stands for space, task, equipment, and people. Think of these 4 pillars as a framework for making any game accessible. By tweaking just 1 or 2 of these pillars, you can instantly transform a game that might normally exclude someone into a game that joyfully welcomes everyone.
Let's look at how this plays out in reality. Under space, maybe you just make the play area smaller. Suddenly, it's way easier for someone with limited mobility or stamina to stay right in the action. For task, you could simplify the rules or break a complex activity into smaller steps so a student with a cognitive disability isn't overwhelmed. Equipment is where you can get really creative. Think bigger, softer balls, or even sound-enabled ones. In the sport of goalball, athletes with visual impairments use a ball with bells inside, relying entirely on their hearing while the crowd stays dead silent. It's amazing. And finally, people. You can pair a stronger student with someone who needs a bit of support, building some really incredible peer mentorship. These are just mechanical, simple tweaks, but they turn that theoretical human right to play into a lived everyday reality.
And finally, Section 5, Biology, Fairness, and Play.
Now, we have to take a highly objective look at how natural human biology interacts with sports. Navigating growth and maturity is a huge part of fairness. We all know biological timelines vary wildly. Just think back to your own middle school days, right? Remember 7th grade? Half the class looked like full-grown adults with mortgages, and the other half looked like they were still in elementary school. Growth happens at totally different speeds. Yes, early matures absolutely get a temporary physical advantage in strength and speed, but everyone eventually catches up. True fair competition means we have to acknowledge that physical development just isn't perfectly synced with someone's chronological age.
There's another vital biological reality we desperately need to normalize in sports, and that is menstruation in female athletics. Historically, this has been such a taboo subject, and sadly, that stigma has led to a lot of young women dropping out of sports altogether when they hit puberty. But understanding periods is just a natural facet of human diversity and health. Having an open, objective understanding of this means we can actually have informed conversations about athlete health, safety, and training loads without any of the stigma. It's simply biology intersecting with performance, and it absolutely deserves our mature, informed attention. To really support these athletes, our source chapter highlights a few key medical terms we should all know. And this isn't just for doctors, it's absolutely crucial for coaches to prevent long-term harm. First, dysmenorrhea. This means painful periods with cramps or fatigue, which can directly impact a training schedule. Then there's menorrhagia, which is very heavy or prolonged bleeding. Next is amenorrhea, missing periods for 3 months or more. Guys, this is a massive red flag in rigorous training. It's often part of the female athlete triad and can lead to severe bone density loss. It is definitely not a badge of honor to train so hard you lose your period. Finally, oligomenorrhea means infrequent periods, more than 35 days apart. Knowing these terms equips everyone to prioritize an athlete's long-term health over short-term gains. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really thought-provoking question straight from our source material. Given everything we've just covered about biological timelines and development, do you think age limits should exist in all sports? Or should we group players by physical maturity, weight, or skill level instead? It completely challenges how we traditionally organize our leagues and games, doesn't it? Take a moment to consider what true fairness in sports looks like to you and how we can best guarantee the right to play for every single person. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through our source material on sports and inclusivity. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll patch you in the next explainer.